Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Now, I know that this isn't obviously another movie review. That one will be coming out again this Saturday and will be on the Jungle Book remake from 2016. But I thought, I've been wanting to make an updated version of this video for a little bit now. So, probably about like a few months back, I ranked all four Jaws films and I didn't really like the video that much because I honestly filmed it on my phone, and I had such limited amount of room to record like a normal sized video in terms of like a ranking video. So I thought, get rid of that one. That one would probably still be on the channel, probably be as like an unlisted video. But this one is going to be a new, updated version of the ranking list. So, yeah, so, this is not, just some random new ranking video. I do want to bring those back, though. I just got to get, a new franchise, over and done with for now. And then I'll do the ranking video, based off of that. So, yeah, this is just an updated version of that ranking list. A lot more time to actually discuss my opinions. Because really, the biggest problem I had with the original one was that it felt like that I was very limited on the amount of things I could say because of the shorter time limit. So, I thought, why not I just, do it like this with the webcam and just point it at my TV right there, and just to kind of show in the background, which film I'm talking about, instead of like holding up a Blu-ray case saying like constantly over and over again. So yeah. So without further ado, let's get on to the Jaws ranking, starting with number 4. Alright, so at number 4 is, and I think everyone can agree on this one, that at number 4 is Jaws the Revenge. Oh, let's see, there we go. Now, this is objectively the worst out of the entire series. The plot, I mean, really, mostly everything that's wrong about this film has been covered to death by everyone. And I'm, again, in that boat where I just feel like that this film absolutely sucks. Now, what I like to do with these ranking videos is to go possibly more in depth than I did with the original reviews. Which is especially apparent with the Star Trek and, well, Jaws rankings, that those videos were only like 20 minutes long. And, they weren't, full-length reviews that I could have done. So, yeah, I like to go more into depth about my opinions on them. So why did I put Jaws the Revenge at number 4? Well, as I said, most people have already discussed basically all of the problems with this film. The plot makes absolutely no sense at all. It is, like, the acting is atrocious in this film. There's so many dream sequences in this film where it's just like, why are they in there? I think there's a total of like 3 to 5 total dream sequences in the entire film, which is absolute, I don't know why. But really the only good things I can really say about this film is Michael Caine is fantastic in it, as usual. Really, anything that Michael Caine is in, he's fantastic. And really, it's kind of like a Tim Curry kind of thing, where, like, really any film that gets like a 1-star rating, he's the reason why it got that 1 star. So yeah, Michael Caine is great in this film. The score is actually really good. Probably actually the best part about this entire film is just listening to the soundtrack. Unfortunately, there was an expanded released a few years ago, but all of the soundtracks to all 4 Jaws films have gone out of print. Sorry about that. Yeah, all of them have gone out of print. I think they're doing a reissue. Someone's gonna be doing a reissue. I don't know why it took me so long to say that. Someone is. I think they're doing a reissue of the first film, because that is obviously one of the most well-known soundtracks of all time. But I don't know if the other films are gonna get the same treatment. Because it was only in 2015 that Jaws 3 got its expanded soundtrack. I mean, you can hear some of the music right now as I've been talking. It's great. And again, so yeah, probably the best thing about the film is the score and Michael Caine. Really, everything else about this film is absolute garbage. The Lauren Gary, returns for her third time and her last time in a Jaws film. No offense to her, but she's just terrible in this film. And I can't really blame her because the script is terrible, the story is absolute garbage, and it's just so convoluted that you know that this film sucks when literally the tagline for the film is "This time it's personal." You know how bad this film sucks when it has a tagline like that on the theatrical poster. Oh, it's just, this film was just absolutely terrible. I don't recommend this film at all. I still go by my ranking that I gave in the original review, and I'm gonna give this film, because when I was doing those reviews, I wasn't doing the whole letter ranking system. I was just doing a score out of 10. I will happily say that I will give this film an F. This film really does not succeed in any level. Again, besides Michael Caine and, the soundtrack is great, but both aren't able to save this film in any way. The soundtrack and Michael Caine are 2% of this entire film, and the other 98% is still shit. So, yeah, this Jaws the Revenge is the worst out of the entire series in my opinion, and I think most people can agree on that. Let's go on to number 3. Alright, so at number 3 is the previous film that came out before Jaws the Revenge, which is Jaws 3 or Jaws 3D. I kind of have the same problems with this as I did with Jaws the Revenge. The only exception is that they only did them slightly better in this film, compared to how they did it in Jaws the Revenge, which I feel like is just way worse. But it kind of suffers from the same problem as I had with Jaws the Revenge, except that while that film was just straight up bad, this film I feel like that had a good plot, but didn't execute it well, and it was just straight up just boring, and the 3D gimmick kind of just hindered it, because I feel like that the plot of having a shark roaming around in SeaWorld is a good idea, but the execution of it is not good at all. I just feel like that they were focusing way too much on the gimmick of having 3D, because this was around the time when 3D was making a resurgence back into relatively big movies, because there was 3 that came out around the same time that I can remember, which is Amityville 3D, Friday the 13th Part 3, and Jaws 3D. I think actually this film got the worst reception out of those 3, which doesn't surprise me that much, but it's still kind of you had a good concept, but you just you executed it poorly, and you were just focusing way too much on the 3D, which I don't feel like is the focus of a 3D film, or any film in general. The focus should be on the story, because that's the most compelling part, which brings people back, not the seeing the 3D. So I personally haven't seen it in 3D yet, because when I did the original review, my TV when I did that review was not able to. I don't think the TV itself had wasn't able to show 3D, because it was a pretty kind of small TV. Obviously the disc does come with a 3D version. I have my Blu-ray player does allow to have 3D, and it I do have 3D glasses. I think I might have them somewhere around here. So I had everything. I think it was just the TV that was kind of what the problem was. I actually got this new TV, which I did show in the original ranking of. So I'm not exactly sure if this TV is capable of 3D. I may figure that out sometime soon when I go and watch this Blu-ray, because I think this is technically the only 3D Blu-ray I have in my entire collection. But I mean, yeah, it's gonna be cool to finally see this film in 3D and see the effect, like how it was supposed to be shown. But that's still not gonna help much when you look at the plot. It's boring, and you have the characters are like, I see Dennis Quaid, who plays Mike Brody, and I don't see Mike Brody. I just see Dennis Quaid. I don't see the same kid that was in the previous two films. I just see this random young adult working at SeaWorld. I don't see him as Mike Brody. I just see him as some random employee that's kind of the main character compared to his girlfriend, who's played by Bess Armstrong, who does okay with the performance, but still, like, Dennis Quaid should not be in this film. Bess Armstrong should not be in this film. Louis Gossett Jr. should not be in this film. Like, Louis Gossett Jr. is a Oscar-winning actor, and yet was put in this piece of shit. And he's great, but it doesn't help. It doesn't save the film in any way. I don't think this film is as bad. As bad as Jaws of Revenge. I could honestly watch this film over that, but it's still a painful experience. I'm not gonna go back to this film anytime soon, but if I have to marathon all the Jaws films again, I can go for this one. Granted, I don't really like it that much, but I can tolerate it. Unlike Jaws of Revenge, where I just want to rip my teeth out every time I watch it, because it's just so bad. But it's not that good either. Slightly better than Jaws of Revenge, but really the problem with this film is just that it's just boring. They execute the plot poorly, and the characters are just really underdeveloped. So I'm gonna give this film around like a D minus, because, like I said, this film doesn't do anything new with the Jaws series. It kind of just this is kind of like the film where I felt like that they really just started to use this as a cash grab, because it doesn't feel like a Jaws film to me. It just feels like it's just like a random shark film, like that could be possibly a sequel to The Meg or something. This doesn't feel like a Jaws film, but nevertheless, it's not that bad. It's just I mean, it's bad, but it's not Jaws of Revenge bad. It's just boring. The characters are underdeveloped, and the effects are horrible. Even to this day, watching them on Blu-ray, it actually probably makes them worse. Like, you can literally look up clips of comparing like the old DVD to the Blu-ray, and it's just bad. So yeah, I'm gonna give this film like around like a D or a D minus, because it's just not really enjoyable, but I can tolerate it over Jaws the Revenge. So let's go on to number 2. Alright, so at number 2 is, ironic, Jaws 2. Now, people said that this is where kind of like the series starts going downhill. Because it's like there shouldn't have been a sequel to the first Jaws film, and I do agree. The first film is such a close story that it doesn't really need a sequel. So the fact that they made a sequel, it's like, okay, yeah, they just want money. I mean, yeah. You know, granted, the first film did so well that I'm not surprised that they made a sequel, but granted, yeah, they shouldn't have done one. That being said, Jaws 2 isn't actually that bad, and I think actually this is a really good sequel. Better than I honestly think that people give it credit for, because it does what I feel like that Jaws 3 and 4 didn't do. And that was expand on the characters, develop them a little bit more, and, you know, expands the story of, you know, enemy like island and, you know, the whole town. And that this film accomplishes that, and I do gotta give it credit for it. And I just feel like that's what the other Jaws films missed out on, because they just deviated so much from the original film that they just didn't feel like sequels to me. Yeah, Jaws 4 is technically more connected to the first two than 3, but even then, like, the characters are so underdeveloped that, like, it doesn't even seem like it. That being said, there are some weak points that I do understand the criticism for. This is kind of like one of those first films that established kind of like the bitchy teenagers, and I can kind of see where people say that it focuses a little bit more on the teens than Brody and the family. I can see that a little bit, especially near the beginning, or near like the first 2 acts, like especially around the first act. It's really connected to the first film. Don't come in. Fucking goddamn it. So basically, it's, you know, it's more connected to the first film than the other two. They did bring back John Williams for the score, which I do appreciate, because the score for this film is great. It's not as good as the original, but is certainly not bad. And I could listen to this by itself. Also, you know, Brody is still great character, even though it is very well documented that him and the director, Jeanette Schwartz, did have a lot of arguments on set due to creative differences that apparently led to a physical fight, apparently at some point. I think they did resolve their issues near the end, but it was a very rocky production, let's say. And it was, that kind of does show in the film with Brody's kind of eccentric attitude throughout the first 2 acts. I feel like that he doesn't become himself until about like the third, like the final act of the film, where he does feel like his first film counterpart, which I do like. And you know, so really, yeah, I feel like that if I watch the first film and if I feel compelled, I'll watch the second film immediately after, because this film is honestly not that bad. People say that this is kind of just a mediocre sequel to the first film, which I don't really agree with at all. I think this is a great sequel. Is it as good as Terminator 2 or Aliens? No. Those are grandly some of the best films of all time. And I don't think that's so much with this film, but I don't think it's a bad film at all. I think this is actually a really great film. So I'll give this film about a B+, because yes, there are some major points about this film that I do not like. I don't like the fact that it focuses on the teens that much. Mike is, I don't know what they did with his character between the first film and this film. but he has this real weird, like, the actor that's playing him has this weird, like, head tilt that if you watch the film, you'll absolutely see in certain scenes, but it's just so awkward, and it's just ugh. His acting overall is really bad, which is ironic since that actor, I don't think he ever acted again after this film. But yeah, the teens are very irritating. It was kind of ironic that this year also came out the first Halloween film, which kind of like sparked off the whole annoying like bitchy teenagers that get laid, get high, and then are killed off. So yeah, I can see that with this film, that it did kind of not invent but kind of brought to the main light some classic horror tropes, at least very slasher tropes, I would say. But overall, it's not bad. It's a great sequel to the first film, not as good, obviously, but it is a tolerable sequel that I can honestly watch over and over again if I was ever forced to. So, like I said earlier, if someone said, "Hey, you can watch Jaws first, you can watch Jaws, but you have to watch Jaws 2 after," I will gladly take it because because this film is honestly, it feels like a great companion to the first film, so it just kind of suits it. So yeah, I will give this film a B plus, and it's obviously my second pick, which obviously means it's kind of obvious what my number one pick is. But at number one, all right, so it should be no surprise, but at number one is the original, the classic Jaws, released in 1975. Now, I've talked to death about this film before in both the review, in the unboxing for this 4K, and obviously in the original ranking. So it should be no surprise that I absolutely love this film. It is honestly one of my favorite films of all time. Now, I there is, like, I honestly don't really see anything bad with this film. So like I can honestly just put this on at any time. Really, it's most appropriate around the summer. But I rarely could honestly put this on at any time and not get sick of it, because this film is honestly amazing. And you know what? Just to show it, since really there was nothing else to show about the previous editions or the previous films, since those were just standard Blu-ray cases, might as well show this off again, because I haven't showed this off in a while, and you know what? It's one of my favorite films of all time, so I might as well give it some special tribute. So yeah, obviously, this is the limited edition 4K with the lenticular cover, with the Jaws logo inside of Bruce's mouth. So yeah, there's the front, there's the spine, and then there's the classic poster art with obviously no shark there. But yeah, just the classic image. And then obviously you get the standard 4K original case, which I believe they did sell this later on after this edition was initially sold out with a slipcover, which I think you can still get the regular standard like just MRA case for about like $20-30 now. Yeah, there's the front, spine, back, and then you get the Blu-ray and the 4K. Now, I'm not exactly sure if the Blu-ray disc that comes in this is a new transfer, because it does have a new like it does say like 2020 on the disc, unlike this edition which I have playing right now. Because yes, technically I do have two versions of this film. I have the standard Blu-ray case, or the Blu-ray edition, which is obviously playing on the Blu-ray player right now, and I got this 4K edition because it's one of my favorite films of all time, so I wanted to pick it up. So I think this Blu-ray edition might be in like the basically just a downscale or just a 1080p version of the 4K. I'm not exactly sure, but I do actually want to see this in 4K, because technically the Blu-ray player that I have right now is not it's just a 4K upscale player, so it can only play like Blu-rays. So I do plan on getting a 4K player at some point, or if any company wants to send me one, gladly email me. I'll add my business email in my homepage, and obviously it does come with this really nice looking little book. So it basically just goes through I believe it just goes through the entire history of the making of the film. Like, obviously starting off with the book, talking about Steven Spielberg, Roy Scheider, Richard Dreyfuss, Robert Shaw, shooting schedule, how tough Bruce was, which is one of the most known things about the behind the scenes of the film, is that Bruce was such a difficult thing to work with, because they were filming on the ocean, and it was a mechanical shark, so it was pretty difficult to try and get it to do the things that it does, which is why it's one of the one of the best suspenseful films of all time, because you don't really see the shark until like the last final half of the film. Here's Quint's monologue, and then we have some of the posters. Here is the standard U.S. Theatrical poster, which I do have hanging in my room. It's off camera right now, but it's basically on right above like one of my shelves. And then some of these other designs are interesting. This is basically just the standard, just one of the most standard looking posters. This one uses the shark from Jaws 2 as a poster, which is kind of weird. So, and then we get some advertisements and like magazines and crap. And then we obviously got the legacy of the film, and then the actual restoration of the film. And yeah, so really, really nice, little thing to include with this edition, which I feel like that if anyone wants to get into the Jaws series and wants to learn about the first film, I say you should pick this up. I don't know if this is still available from like retail, from Target or Walmart or Best Buy and stuff like that, at a standard relative price. Not going on like eBay or Amazon and getting from the scalpers, because it obviously comes with a really good looking transfer as far as I know, and you obviously get information on the film in the booklet. So a really nice addition to keep around, or to have in your collection. Really, what else do I have to say about this film? This is an absolute masterpiece through and through. Which is why I have no doubt in my mind in giving this an A+, because this film is absolutely fantastic. Again, it's one of my favorite films of all time, going alongside of, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, Aliens. Some of the greatest films of all time. This film deserves to be up there. So, yeah, no doubt in my mind, giving this film an A+. So, yeah. So, yeah, that really concludes this ranking video. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, like I said, the next Russell's movie reviews will be up this Saturday on the Jungle Book remake from 2016. Next week, we'll be doing Pete's Dragon. The week after that, we'll be doing Christopher Robin. And then, I think after that, we're doing the Rush Hour trilogy. And then, after that, we'll end off with a very special episode, because that will be the 100th episode. And so I got a little treat, a little bit of an oddity for the series, because technically, this one was released theatrically, but most people didn't know that before it was released to DVD. And due to my wardrobe in the back, you may figure out what it is. So, yeah, so stay tuned for the next movie review, which will be on The Jungle Book. I do plan on, honestly, at some point doing my top 10 favorite films of all time, because I feel like that it's been a few years since I've done that, because I think the last time I did this was back in like 2017, 2018, and I think some of my opinions have changed. I haven't gone back and watched that video in a long time. But, yeah, so, hope you guys I do plan on doing that one at some point. I don't know exactly when. Probably in about a few months. Probably as an extra video when you guys are waiting for the next movie review to come out. Probably around, I would say, between September and December of this year, and if not, then sometime next year. I'm not exactly sure when I want to do that. But yeah, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You can click over here on my profile to go to my channel, or click down at my name down there to go to my channel, and make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon to be notified when future videos are coming out. And you can click over here to check out the previous the latest two videos, which are most likely movie reviews. So yeah, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this, and stay tuned for the Saturday for the Jungle Book review. So anyway, guys, live long and prosper. Out. Oh yeah, you're probably gonna need a bigger boat for if you want to go out on the beach. Just letting you know.